Hello everyone, my name is Matthew and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things computer science and software engineering. Now in this video I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of my experience going through the interview pipeline for a software engineering internship position for the summer of 2021. Now overall this past couple of months I've applied to I think almost 100, maybe a little bit less companies. I've gotten a handful of take-home assignments and a couple or at least I got one like not in person but like with engineers. I got several interviews from one company. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about my preparation experience and just my overall experience going through the process, because overall this was my first year that I was seriously being considered for kind of large tech company internships, and I just wanted to share my experience going through that whole pipeline. So we're going to go ahead and get straight into it. So to kind of get started, again, I'm going to rehash a little bit of what I said just previously, but I am a current high school student in San Diego, California, and I was looking to just see kind of what I could be accepted into and what kind of, stages of interviews I could get into this year. Obviously, I knew going in that the vast majority of internships require a bachelor's, you to be currently pursuing a bachelor's degree. And I am nowhere near that. I am at most pursuing an associate's degree at local community colleges, which disqualifies me from, I'd say, 95+% of all software engineering internships, but I applied anyways. In fact, I applied to, I think, 80 some specific different internship positions, and I think I got like 8 different take-home exams and 1 interview. So again, I got to go through that process and really, regardless of whether or not I had a real chance of getting in, I got experience getting exams from companies where they would send me an online coding challenge that they use to assess your ability. And so I really got to practice the real kind of interview experience, which you can't get that experience anywhere else but besides doing it yourself or by applying really to companies. So I'm going to go ahead and start off kind of showing the spreadsheet that I created and kind of the whole process I went through. So at the beginning, before this summer, I created a spreadsheet, internship opportunities 2021 school year, and then I have all the companies I applied to. And some of these you can see show up multiple times because these are different positions I was applying to. I applied to, I was editing this just a couple of minutes ago, but I was applying to plenty of Google positions, as you can see. Qualcomm, mostly big companies actually. I was ignoring all small companies because the point is I already have a software engineering position. And again, this was mostly to see like I wanted to kind of rank myself as a current high school student where I stand, at least compared to these, I call these like my benchmarks because these are my end ultimate goal. And I wanted to see how well I'm faring in terms of conversion rate and just my overall skill set, as opposed to what these companies are expecting your skill set to be when you interview for these internships. So out of all of these, you can see I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8 take-home assignments. And again, I got to interview round 3, the last screening round in Atlassian. And I was able to, quote unquote, I like to say, slip through the majority of their screening process. I passed their take-home exam. I passed their initial interview where I actually sat down with an engineer and I interviewed in React. And then I got I got to a recruiter phone screen, and it was at that point that my education disqualified me from further moving forward. But again, I was able to get really, I think this initial interview right here was the most valuable experience I could ever get because it was a full hour sitting down with an engineer from this company where they tested me on my abilities. And really, I was not like, I completely thought it would be possible that I could end up getting this internship. So I wasn't going purely to rip off the company. I legitimately wanted to have an internship at, say, Atlassian or Twitch or Roblox or IBM. But, again, I already knew going in that likely I would get screened out just purely because of my education. And I mean, some people may say that's unfair. But yeah, like I have, I feel like if you do have the knowledge required, then you should be eligible, especially specifically if you are younger than the required age. But I mean, that's just company policy, and there's nothing I can do about that specifically. But try to get in and do these interviews. and maybe impress someone enough to actually land a position. But none the matter, I did end up getting, again, all of these take home interviews. And so, again, I created this sheet at the beginning and I just had the company that I'm applying to, the division that I'm applying to, which this is kind of useless. I mean, a little bit, I used it like front end developer, front end OS engineer, like, specific positions, embedded, but overall, this is mostly just pure software engineer is kind of fine here. Recruiter name and recruiter email, if they're applicable, I've blanked out the ones where I actually was in contact with the recruiter. And then, yeah, so I've blanked that out, but this is a useful column just so you can have all that information handy. The way I applied, I wanted to know personally, I applied the vast majority of positions through the portals online, and I'm going to go through that in a bit, and a couple of recruiters, like I said. And then I haven't really used this column, like the number of follow-up emails or applications, but I never ended up using this, even though I may have ended up sending a few follow-ups, but that doesn't matter. And then again, just the status. The majority of these are already closed, a hand or a ton of just no replies, which theoretically could be replies at some point, but vast majority were rejections. And then I did end up getting a handful of interviews. And again, these interview round ones to me, these are my own classifications. This means that the company sent me a hacker rank or elite code coding challenge where they give you 3 questions and they're generally fairly, they're medium difficulty. If you know, like lead code medium, algo expert medium, which means like, it's if you're not like if you do not have a fundamental grasp of your data structures and algorithms, you will have a hard time with these questions. In fact, I can say with confidence that these first 6 I bombed, and that was fully my own fault because I had not prepared enough for the interview. By that point, these came along. Like again, I got these interviews maybe in December or in October. These, and then these 3 came along back like later on, or not Roblox, but like these 2 came on like later on, like in November, December, and I was much more prepared specifically for Atlassian. I was, I kind of learned from all my mistakes that I made in these, and now going forward, I was able to actually pass it, and I can be fairly confident that I can pass a lot more of the take-home challenges going into the future. So again, that's all about the learning experience, and even if this is what your first year looks like, again, this is your first year, and you have plenty more to go, and this is a kind of trial and error process. So yeah, that's pretty much the status section, and then there's just the date and notes where I just will put notes like I put all the dates that I had my different interview sections in here and just whatever. So yeah, this is my personal kind of layout. I didn't get this from anywhere on the internet. I just found this to be the most useful display of information for me. And yeah, so I'll probably link this specific sheet or like a modified version of it in the description if you guys want to copy it. But yeah, that's pretty much what I use. Now, in terms of actually finding where to apply, and if you are watching this now, it's a little bit too late for all of these companies at the very least. If you want to apply to big FANG companies or any big tech companies, generally your last window for application will be in December, early December at that. And past early December, I can almost guarantee that 90% of the big tech companies are already, their applications have closed. They're still hiring at that point, but their applications have closed, and they're continuing to hire the people that they that applied pre-December. And a lot of these I know closed before October. So really the time to start applying to these is in September, early October, and then a handful of these will open in November and then December. It's like September, October is like a kind of first wave, and then November, December is like a second wave of these big companies opening and closing their applications. So yeah, again, the time to jump onto this is directly as fall starts for the school year, school semester, school quarter. As soon as the fall quarter starts, or even as the summer quarter is ending, is the time to start applying to GitHub, Atlassian, Twitch, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Cloudflare, Twilio, any of these. So basically, again, that is around the time. So to actually find these companies, the most common way I did these companies was I went to LinkedIn. And I highly recommend you have an account because it will get viewed by some recruiters. And overall, it's, I think like 20% of the applications here asked you to link your LinkedIn in the application itself. because that's really where you display your work experience, your educational experience, your resume, and everything in your skills as well, all in one place. So companies love to be able to access that as a resource. So again, I would join and create an account and just basically maybe even look up a YouTube tutorial how to set up a LinkedIn for software engineers, because it is pretty important the way you set it up. You just have to include the right information. But either way, I'm going to click search for a job for now and stay logged out. I could log into my account, but no point. So I'm going to go ahead and search software engineer internship. And right now, there's not going to be that many, like, there's a handful like of big companies that'll show up here, but the majority of them are closed because these are regular software engineering positions. Like here's one for PlayStation. That's a pretty big one. So yeah, again, you come here and you just search software engineer internship, and I would go through for hours and hours and hours on, as you can see here, I applied on, I applied throughout September, and I actually missed the August. Actually, is also another month that you should consider applying. Again, end of summer, early fall. And then I applied through October. I applied through November. I even applied, I think, in December. Maybe not. Yeah, so it was mainly September, October, and November. And if I had known about this before, because again, this is my first year, I would have started applying actually in August. So yeah. So again, just go through LinkedIn here and find these positions. Hardware engineer, this is entry level, so this isn't an internship. This one is an internship, but I don't really know this company. Again, apply on company website, come here. PlayStation, where was that one? Right here, apply on company. And you just go through these portals, apply now, blah, blah, blah. You fill in all of your information. You need to link your resume. That's really important to have a good resume. In fact, if you don't have a resume or a good one, you will not get a single reply from a company. And really, that's just about finding a good way to make one. I have a couple tutorials here on my website about how my resume looks like. But again, like, that's whatever. You can make it. And then, of course, like, you just go through these. And the point is you have to go through a lot of these applications. Like, I've gone through 80 of these, and each of these takes a minute, maybe two. And then the searching process takes several minutes. So you're talking hours and hours and hours and hours over the course of several days, of course. But yeah, that's pretty much the overall process for applying. Now, again, it's good to have a portfolio website as well, a website that you create, especially if you're a web engineer, a front end, back end, or full stack engineer. It's good to just create a website where you can show off your skills, and you can show off like your work experience and your projects and contact, and just this is a good thing to have specifically for your projects. It's a good place to showcase them. And of course, a lot of your applications will ask you to link a portfolio website, or will give you the option to, and then you can link it there. And then the last step in preparing for these is once you actually get the resume and the applications are kind of the first part, but once you get replies, the point is you have to know how to solve coding questions. And the best way to do that is either go to AlgoExpert, which is a paid platform, or go to LeetCode, which is a free platform. The difference between these two being that on AlgoExpert, if you do a question, let's look at validate subsequences, a free question, you can get detailed video explanations. Like I'm talking, per video, this is 20 minutes. I've done like, I think 40 some questions on this platform. Some of these are hours long, or like an hour long when it's really complicated. And they will guide you through how to solve this, like if you are just completely stuck. Whereas LeetCode, you'll have some people can post their solutions and you can read those, but it's not as user-friendly. Both work, of course, but yeah, that's basically the last step, is just prep for your interviews and get experience interviewing so that you can pass them. So yeah, that was pretty much all I had to show in this video. I just wanted to go through a little bit of my experience and kind of my process for applying for internships in this 2021 school year, and or 2020-2021, and then my plan will be very much the same for this 2021-2022 school year, except I will start a lot earlier, like months earlier, both in preparation for the interviews with these and in actual applications. We'll just start in August or maybe even July. So yeah, that's pretty much my only two tips. So if you want to see more videos like this, you can check out my tech and career playlist, which is linked in the description. I upload these kinds of videos every 4 days. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications whenever I post new videos. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.